so this time we're going to work on delete. We're also going to show you some nice built-in things with table views. So they've got this really nice edit that's all set up for you. You just have to learn how to use it. And it's got the ability to do deletes just right out of the box, exactly how you want to do them, right? So it's going to be great. So the first thing we need is we actually need that edit button to show up, right? So we don't currently have an edit button over here yet, and we need to go fix that. If you go to your Viewdidload method, there was actually a stub in here that does almost exactly what you wanted, right? So it says self.navigationItem.write button item. So we need to change this. We're going to put edit over on the left because I like to put add on the right personally. And the neat thing is instead of saying like, you know, UI bar button item and like setting it all up, there's actually a built-in method. This is only for UI table view controllers for an edit button item. And it chooses to say self dot here. And if you want to leave it saying self dot, that's totally fine, but it's not required. So just to prove that I know it's not required, I'm taking it out, but you can see Apple does leave it in a lot. So just by uncommenting that line, which Apple's template wrote for us, we just uncommented it, you can see we've now got edit. It won't do quite what you want yet. If you click on edit, what it's going to let you do is it's going to let you delete our empty placeholder. I don't want to delete my placeholder, so I mean that's no good. I don't want it to be deletable. Fortunately, if you actually click delete, nothing happens because we haven't implemented it. But I don't even like that it got this circle, right? So there's a couple ways to fix that. The main way you make something non-editable is with the can edit row at index path. So that's kind of cool. So the idea of this method is that you need to return either true or false, whether you want to allow editing on this row. So you can determine true or false however you want. They pass you the index path, so you know what index you're working on. So you can make like all the evens deletable, you know, if you wanted. In this case, what I want to do is I just want to say movie quotes dot count greater than 0. So if the count is greater than 0, then yeah, they're all editable. If it's equal to 0, then none of them are editable, which is great. And to be honest, I read your comment, I get it. The title of the method is so descriptive, can edit row at index path, that I don't really need anything else. So that's going to make it a lot better, not perfect. But if you click on edit now, you can see that at least there's no red circle, there's no way to delete our empty message. If you're really picky, you might not even like that it says edit and done, right? Like, I just want it to do nothing, right? If it bothers you, I'll show you how to fix that too. The way you fix that is you can override SetEditing. So whenever you click that button to go into editing, it actually calls this method for SetEditing. And in this class, we don't really do anything with it. It's really, you know, what super does with it, right? So if you wanted to call super and say editing false, and you know, you could say animated yes or no, sorry, Swift, true or false. I wish they'd made that different. You could actually say if moviequotes.count is equal to 0, do one thing, and then if it's not, do something different. So what we could choose to do here is, in one case, we could tell super SetEditing false, and then in the other case, we could just pass through editing. If I auto-completed there, it would really, I want to say editing on that guy. And then animated, you know, you could just pass through the animated setting. Actually, you know what? Probably in this one, I want animated false, now that I think about it. So if there's no movie quotes, tell super, we're not doing editing, right? So let's just go ahead and see if that actually works. So now if you click on edit, kind of nothing happens, which is a little cleaner. All right, so there's two ways you could have fixed that. The kind of most common way, and then for this special case, I did it this way. All right, I feel like I got off track here. What we really wanted to do was delete, you know, quotes that exist. So if you just kind of make a quote, you know, you could make a couple of them. So I can make a Q1 and a Q2. And if I click on edit, I click on this button, and I click on delete, you'll notice that nothing happens, right? And that's because we haven't actually finished this thing. It's pretty slick that we got this whole delete behavior for free. Like if you were doing web development, it would take you forever to set all this up, right? Just to get that cool little animation, the delete button. So we got a lot for free, but we didn't get everything for free. We have to go write a little bit more. And what we're going to write is we're going to write another delegate method that handles editing style. Sure enough, it's the next one in the list, right? Apple must know their own product pretty well because they have picked every method we want to write, one right after another. And so this one says, commit editing style. So this is for when you click on delete. You could also do a thing with insert, but to be honest, we're doing insert in a different way. So commit editing style, where the editing style is equal to delete. This is where we're going to do stuff. It turns out that there's also a block here for insert. We're doing insert in a totally different way, so you can just delete that. And then, so this is override to support editing a table view. I know what it is at this point. And there's actually some information here. So it deletes the rows from the index path. So it actually defaults to giving you an animation, which is kind of fun. And then there's a comment. This is actually like a warning for you to do. Hey, you better delete the row from the data source. If you don't delete it from the array, you're going to be disappointed because something's going to crash, right? So what we want to do here is we want to say movie quotes dot, and then we want to remove something, right? What do we want to remove? Remove that index. That sounds pretty promising because we've got an index path row. So this is pretty slick. We can remove something, and then it'll do an animation of the remove. So let's just go ahead and run it again. We have no quotes. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put back on those two quotes. That way I don't have to type in something just to delete it, right? So I'm going to put those back on, and I've got two quotes, which is cool. I click on Edit. I can pick either of them I want. So here I'll pick the top one and say Delete, and presto, goes away. Awesome. You're not done. Try to delete the second one. So you're going to go from one row, and then when you hit delete, you're going to crash, right? So my special empty message, it burnt you again, right? So this is the exact same as the way it burnt you last time. So I told you it was going to cause complication. And it's the same problem as before. And the problem is that if you delete a row, you can't go from one to one and delete a row in this way. So we're going to have to add a special case, right? So the special case in this one is if the count just became 0, we're going to do one thing, and then otherwise we'll do the same thing we did before, and we're going to fix it in the same way. So the normal case is to do an animation, but the special case is just to reload data, right? Easy peasy. It's not that hard. So this is what we want to do a delete. This should actually work. So now we're going to start it off. We've got our two quotes. We say edit. We delete you, Adrian. That worked before. And then as soon as I hit delete on this, you'll notice there will be no animation. It'll just snap into the other view. So snap into the other view. I could probably do things to get the animation there again, not worried about it. And so, you can add things, which is great. When I add this, you're going to be surprised what it looks like. You'll notice that I'm still editing, so it says done up here. So when I say create quote, it's actually still in the editing view. If you wanted to fix that, right, you could. So you could, after you delete the last quote, kick yourself out of editing. That wouldn't be hard. And the way you do that is we just say self.setEditing style to false. And you can say animated, yes or no. What the heck, I'll say true. So now when you delete the last quote, you'll get supposedly some type of animation. I'm not really sure what that animation is. I think it's the button up here, animated. And so now you can see that once you delete the last quote, it kicks you out of editing, which I actually prefer that, right? I mean, most users will never notice that we added that feature, but for the one guy that does, it'll work the way that you want it. All right, so that is delete. You can see that it kind of made use of this can edit row, and then this commit editing style. And the only reason it was complicated at all is because of my love of a special empty message. All right, so that's it for this time. Come back next time, and we'll do some more stuff in developing this app. See you then.